My name is Xiaohui, and my final paper is on having deaf baby by choice. So I found a news article published in 2002 about a deaf lesbian couple in the United States wanted their child to be deaf by choice. So what they did was that they found a sperm donor who had 5 generations of deafness in his family history to have a baby who was deaf. And the deaf lesbian couple decided to let the boy decide whether he wants hearing aid once he grow up. The reason behind them making this choice was that they considered deafness as an identity instead of a medical application that needs to be fixed. A hearing baby would be a blessing, a deaf baby would be a special blessing. They also compare them to minority groups such as Black people, saying that Black people also have harder lives, but Black parents should have the option to have Black children because it's natural and ethical for them to want their children to be part of their culture, Black culture. Some of the objections to this choice were, although deaf children can have perfectly wonderful lives, it is still a shame to set limits on a child's potential. People talk about the sky is the limit, but being deaf prevents you from getting there. You don't have as many choices. The main point of contention here is whether deafness should be seen as a disability, a medical condition that needs to be cured, or should deafness be seen as an identity, an alternative lifestyle, has its own language and culture that need to be preserved, and most importantly, as desirable as hearing as a lifestyle and identity. I want to clarify right here that there are definitely much more than two positions on this topic, and deaf community itself is a really large, diverse group. There are people who use hearing aid and they can understand most part of daily conversations. There are people who are completely deaf and they cannot receive any information verbally. There are people who are born with deafness. There are people who become deaf later, at some point later in their lives. So it's a really large, diverse group. So one perspective on looking at deafness is to see it as a medical condition that needs to be cured, a disability. Disability, according to the dictionary, is a physical or mental condition that limits a person's movement, senses, or activities. Medical terminologies are often seen as objective, scientific, and immutable, which is actually not true. For instance, the famous French philosopher Michel Foucault argued and explored the history of madness in his work Madness and Civilization, and he explored how meaning of madness is as a medical terminology was only a recent development. For instance, during the age of Renaissance, mad people were seen as people who had unconventional wisdom, and they were not contained and segregated from the rest of humanity. Only after the Enlightenment movement, entering to the age of reason, when people start to see madness as a product of histories and social relations, and when people start seeing madness as a subject of scientific and psychological study. So madness is really a product of history, and social relations. Another example is homosexuality, which used to be treated as a mental disorder until 1973 in the United States. If you ask many deaf people, about their disability, they will consider themselves as differently able instead of disabled. And they even ask questions, why do I want to hear? They don't see their deafness as a medical condition. Another perspective of looking at it is to see deafness as an identity and a culture. So I'm going to explore what is essential, what is included in this identity and culture. Because we all know identity could be a really vague term and really hard to define or use as a category of analysis. For instance, the questions to be asked is that is being deaf biologically essential? That might sound like a ridiculous question, but it's actually not. For instance, the lesbian deaf couple in the news article clearly think that in order to their child to have the same deaf identity as they are, the child has to be actually biologically deaf. But imagining a scenario where a child grow up in a deaf community, interact with deaf people, and the child learn sign language along with spoken English, can this child be regarded as culturally deaf? Also, I'm going to compare it, explore the notion of identity and culture through a similar controversy, which is cochlear implantation. Things in cochlear implantation can help people who are completely deaf and restore most, if not all, of their hearing ability. It should be a popular technology that everyone welcome, right? Not true. In some extreme cases, some opponents to this technology describe it as a cultural genocide, as by converting people from being deaf to hearing. This technology destroy the unique communities, social norms, language, and history of deafness. So yeah, that's my paper. Thank you.